In this video, we are going to look at the marketing strategy that the devil has been using over and over again. The Lord expects us to know this technique and even use this technique. After the woman answers the serpent, there is something that the serpent replies back that changes everything in the conversation and completely convinces the woman to eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The serpent replies in Genesis chapter 3, verse 4, "You shall not surely die." So what it is that the serpent conveyed to the woman that convinced her completely? You shall not surely die. Look at the level of confidence. Why was the serpent so confident that it even replied in the very words that God said to Adam, that you will surely die? And the serpent says, you shall not surely die. When the serpent spoke to the woman in verse 4, it was not only words, it was a transfer of a lot of information. What even was the language that they spoke? How were they communicating? Was it in Hebrew? Was it in English? What was the language? We will see that later as we progress. But it suffices to know for now that the information that was being passed to the woman was more than what the serpent just said. It is my belief that Moses only interpreted the main point from the information that he received from God. God, in his wisdom, allowed Moses to record only what was necessary, so that his children will ask him what exactly happened, and God will reveal it to them himself. So let me rephrase what the serpent was saying and also give you an understanding about what exactly happened. We are taking our reading from verse 4 and verse 5. We have already seen verse 4, where the serpent says, you shall not surely die. In verse 5, the serpent says, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Let me rephrase what the serpent has just said from what I understand. Eve, you shall not surely die. I guarantee you this. You did not experience it, but I have experienced it. Look at me. I am still alive. Yes, I ate the fruit that you have been forbidden to eat. And though God said that even if you touch it, you will die, as you just told me, I am a living testimony. I tested the fruit for you. There's no harm at all. On the contrary, Let me tell you that I now have knowledge that surpasses your knowledge. Your knowledge is limited because you do not know both good and evil. God knows that when you will eat of this tree, your eyes will be opened and you will know things beyond what you normally know. You will be able to see things beyond what you normally see. I say that God told you that you will surely die, but I tell you that you will not surely die. All this time you have been kept in the dark, Eve. There's much higher knowledge to attain than what you have. You will become like that God. You will become like the gods who knows both good and evil. I know it because I have become like that God. I now know both good and evil. I know how God is. If you are supposed to be ruling over me, but I now am a higher being, independent of you, you too can become like this God that I have known, Eve. God has kept you in the dark, lest you take his place. You can be a higher being, and it is simple. Just eat the fruit. There is no great task to do. Just take and eat. So, from what I am interpreting here, I have the inclination to believe that the serpent ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And I have reasons to believe so. The greatest reason is connected to the judgment of God on the serpent in verse 14. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. By the way, we are far ahead right now. This verse, I am just bringing this verse up just to explain to you my reasons. But we will see in details later about this verse also. Why would God of all judgments judge the serpent concerning the belly and what it will eat? God could have said that you will crawl on your back, or you will walk on your head, since the serpent used its brain a lot. Why belly? And why you will eat dust? Why is God judging about eating there? Then in verse 15, we also see he will crush your head. Why crush your head? Why the head? Why the belly? We will see that later. But this is just to give you my reasons. And the second reason that I have is the woman was not foolish. Let's use common sense. God creates a creature called the serpent and makes it wise, makes it cunning, and puts the man and the woman in charge as ruler over that creature and over all the earth. Would God make the serpent wiser than the man and the woman? To the extent that it could fool them without genuine proof, without genuine transformation, without genuine testimony? Would God give the man rulership over an animal, wiser and more cunning than the man? I don't think so. Though the serpent was wise and cunning, Adam was made in the image and likeness of God and was in no way foolish and could not be fooled by a serpent unless there was really a solid proof that led Eve to be convinced. And the only solid proof can be that the serpent ate the fruit and did not die. And Eve could sense that. As I said in the previous videos, that the first one to be deceived was not the woman, but the serpent. And it was not the woman who ate first the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, but it was the serpent. So let's continue. Now, just a side note. We read in verse 5, when the serpent was saying, "You will become like God." In the King James Version it says, like gods, knowing good and evil. My question is, to whom was it referring to? Keep this question in your mind. We will look at it in more details later, but it's important. Remember this. So my understanding of what happened is the devil came to the serpent as a benevolent being, disguised as an angel of light, and told it to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And when the serpent obeyed, Satan got access into it. Because now the devil had something of himself in the serpent, and Satan could now claim access. And this opened the door for the devil to enter the serpent. Before that, the devil could not just enter any creature as he willed. Any creature had to first give its consent. And for the devil to enter, the creature must have something that reflected the devil. So I spoke about marketing strategy earlier. Let's look at that strategy. Because when I read verse 4 and verse 5, when I read the way the serpent was deceiving the woman, I see marketing there. The marketing of the devil. And we can learn a lot from this, because Our Lord Jesus himself told us to be cunning as serpents. We find this in the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents, and harmless as doves. So number one, the devil had a product that he had been working on, investing time and resources for years while he was in Eden, the garden of the Lord. He put much time and effort into it until it bore fruit. That was a product he was proud of and knew that it could deliver quality results. Number two, the devil needed someone who was badly in need of that product. The serpent was vexed and wanted to be a higher being because it was rejected by Adam. So the devil targeted the serpent as the perfect advertising candidate. We should note that the animals were not told that they would die if they ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Number three, the devil also needed such a candidate that the woman could trust. If there would be anyone who the woman did not trust, the message would not go through. It would not be convincing enough. The genuine testimony had to come from someone the woman trusts. Though it was deceit, the serpent did not know that it was being deceived. This is a very important thing here. When someone is deceived, that person doesn't know it is deceived. Judas was deceived, but he realized it later, but it was too late. All right. Number four, the testimony had to be appealing now to a specific target audience. That even though they are against that product right now, because of their belief system, because of their faith, but there still is the possibility in them to be interested in that product. So the testimony came from someone who was not a fool, but was a creature who was intelligent, who was cunning, who was wise, and that creature could clarify their doubts. Now, why I say that there was the possibility in them to eat, to get that product, to be interested in that product. If there was not the desire that could erupt in Adam and Eve to grow and become higher and better than what they already were, they would not have even bothered. If there was not the desire to eat from that tree, they would not even care. But they did not dare eat from that tree because of fear of death. Later, we will look at the desire that they had in more details. How that desire came to be. What was the origin of that desire? That is why the devil needed a genuine testimony to be given to them, to clear all their doubts, to be reassured that they would not die, but instead they would become like God. Number 5. The product was not difficult for Adam and Eve to find. It was right there before them all this time. The devil was the one who took so much pain as to infiltrate the market and show them the product through the serpent, which was now his living testimony, his advertising agent, that the product is available in the comfort of their zone. They don't have to do great things. They need not work hard for it. The product was there. The clarifications were there. The education was there. The advertising was there. The right product at the right place at the right time. Marketing. Now, how the right time? It was at a time where God was not walking in the cool of the day. So in a way of saying, Adam and Eve did not have God there to stop them to do what they wanted. They were free. There was no supervisor there. Even though God was there. Because the Bible tells us that where can we go from His presence? Where can we go from His Spirit? But they did not know it. And God knew that what they were doing. God knew it. And God knew that they would sin, but they did not know it.